Hello, welcome to this Filbert Flies review of Aerosoft's Airport St. Tropez for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll take you on a tour around the airport, I'll give you my opinion for what it's worth, and then we'll fly a circuit so you can see what it's like to use in practice. So here we are outside the main terminal, if you can call it that. This is a GA/BizJet airport primarily. And the modelling is really rather good. You'll hear in the background some nice atmospheric bird song. You can see a fairly detailed car park. If we come over here, you'll see a little cafe with people modelled sitting outside. And it's this sort of detail that I really like about this product. First negative point, and it is minor, this stone texturing doesn't look quite right, but it's, how often are you really going to see that up close? Got a photographer here who really ought to get a little bit closer to that gate if he's going to get a decent shot. Or, of course, just nip round the side and go straight onto the apron. So the airport comes with static aircraft. There doesn't seem to be an option to turn these on or off, but there are a few business jets. And here we've got a twin-engined aircraft of some sort. Could it be a King Air? I'm not very good at identifying planes. But I have to say I like the static aircraft. I think it would be pretty dead without them. We have a look at this terminal/hangar. You can see that the texturing's really rather good. NetJet's advertisements above it. And if we look at the ground, again, very, very convincing. The texture's good. I really like these scuff marks or oil spills, just the general slightly used look of it all. Got a fueling point over here. So that's really the extent of the buildings that are modelled in this, certainly in the airport. You'll also find that in the local village, La Mole, that they've created custom autogen, and we'll fly over that later, so you'll get to see. It's a nice little touch, I must say, because it's key to the approach onto Runway 6 here. So we'll go down and show you the other end of the airport shortly. But I thought while we're up this end, it might be worth having a look at what the night lighting's like. So as you can see, the airport's pretty dark at night. There's no taxiway lighting. There's no runway lighting. The only things lit up are the airside bits of the buildings over here. And they're lit up rather nicely. It's quite a convincing glow from these floodlights. Now, how true to life this is, I don't know. I've looked for photos of St. Tropez Airport in the dark or at night time, and I can't find any, which possibly suggests that it shuts at night, and it's not inconceivable that there would be no taxiway or runway lighting. But as I say, I can't confirm or deny that that is what the airport's like in reality. Okay, so if we go back to a reasonable hour, just a bit dusky, we'll head down to the other end of the airport and jump into the Cessna 152 and take a little spin. So more static aircraft down here. This is obviously where the poor people park their planes. I'm not entirely sure if these are Flight Simulator AI or if they are statics actually. But I should be able to tell you if I have a quick look at little nav map, which does seem to recognise AI traffic. Yeah, so the one immediately Well, this one is Flight Sim AI. The others, I believe, are static. So that's all very interesting. Now, the supplied manual does come with a very useful diagram of what the circuit is like here at Saint-Tropez. And it's not the easiest, I must say. I've had a couple of spins around it myself, and I can't guarantee this is going to go terribly well. I'll put in the video description a link to a YouTube video of a real-world pilot learning how to fly this circuit, because you need special training before you're allowed to fly in here. And I followed that through, and I've done my best to replicate it. Okay, so runway 6 is in use this evening, and we'll head down there now. And I'll show you what's what. Right, here we go. So on the climb out, you essentially seem to follow the shape of the valley, so you maintain runway heading, then make a slight left-hand turn. So we'll turn here. And we'll head straight towards the edge of these buildings here. Circuit height is 1,600 feet here, so we'll keep climbing to that altitude. We'll make a left turn here onto the crosswind leg. And continue our climb up to 1,600 feet. So it is a lovely part of the world here. The scenery is pretty spectacular. And and we'll make another turn here onto the downwind leg. Do bear in mind that I've done this circuit precisely twice, so if you want to learn how to do it properly, don't watch this video. Watch the guy who's learning to do it for real. But it gives you an idea anyway of what the flying's like out here. Because I think it's important when you're deciding whether or not to purchase an add-on, not only to look at the quality of the product, but also what it would be like to use it regularly. Now ahead of us, just hidden behind this hill here, I hope, is a lake, and we want to turn left just before that, and we make a sweeping left-hand turn onto our base leg and then onto final. And the turn from base to final, as you'll see, is where it gets really interesting. I'm going to slow us down. Okay, so the lake is here. Yeah, that's the lake we're after. So just before we get to it, we're going to make our turn and start descending. And really you're skirting the tops of the trees during this approach. So I'm extending my flaps quite early. And there's a village over here. Oh, this I believe is Le Mole, where they've done custom autogen. So I'll try and give you a view of that as we pass without messing up the approach. Looks rather nice, doesn't it? And as you can see, the runway's right here, and we've got a big hill in the way. So we're going to make sure we've got full flaps out, and then we're essentially, as I say, going to fly at the hill and make a very late turn onto final. Didn't have quite this many reflections last time I did it. And we're quite high. It is necessarily a steep final approach, but possibly could be done slightly less steeply than this. And there you are, back on the ground. And that is sort of how it's done. So we'll turn on the runway. I'll give you my final thoughts, and then we'll leave it at that. Right, so what do I think of this scenery? Well, I think it's rather nice, to be honest with you. It's a small airport. It's great for GA. It's great for bizjet flying. You're not going to get many airliners in here, although I do believe there are some charter flights as well in small turboprops and that sort of thing if you're into airline flying. I think the texturing's really good. I think the atmosphere is captured really well. And for €10 something, I think it's a good bet. It does, of course, depend on what sort of flying you like to do. But if you like interesting approaches, pretty scenery, and well-crafted, well-modelled airports, then I think you could do a lot worse than this one. Thanks for watching. Do please subscribe for more from me, Philbert. Take care.